Welcome to the WIHS Journal. On the broadcast with us today, we'll be talking to the director of the Right to Life Education Alliance. She is the director. Her name is Margaret Beacott. As we learn about a pro-life workshop that's coming up this coming weekend, April 26th in Niantic, beginning at 1 p.m. Stay tuned for all the details. So, Margaret, I know that you have a special organization. Maybe you can just tell our listeners about that, and then we'll talk a little bit about the pro-life workshop.
Okay, yes. Thank you so much for having me. We'll tell you a little bit about Connecticut Right to Life. Connecticut Right to Life started in 1973, directly after Roe v. Wade was handed down as the law through our country. For years and many, many years, 50-something years, Connecticut Right to Life used to lobby with the legislators in Connecticut, up in Hartford. And since then, we have broken off from the Connecticut Right to Life Corporation, and I started Connecticut Right to Life Education Alliance, which helps to teach the public about what, the laws in Connecticut, what the abortion laws are, and how to try to protect all life from conception until natural death. We do an awful lot of events, and our upcoming event is April 26th. It's in Niantic, right by, you could take a walk on the beach if you want to, before or after the event. It's so close to McCook Beach. It's at the VFW right in Crescent Beach in Niantic. This event is going to show the public how bills are created. If you would like to create a bill, you can go to your legislator and how you can get that done, how they are processed and how they get into a committee, a particular committee, and then how the committee votes on it, how we can also contact them, go to a hearing, write your own testimony, everything you can do to help a bill to pass or not to pass, depending on what the bill is about.
I know that there's another bill coming up in office. We had an amazing crowd up at the Capitol talking about the bill that was trying to protect abortion up to 9 months. What happened with that bill? What happened with that?
There were so many bills that came out this session that it's been very difficult to keep track of them, never mind just the abortion issues, but the other issues the bills were for in this state. There were a few that actually made it out of committee even. So if you don't, if our public doesn't understand what that means, you really need to come to our event because you will learn what this means. Coming out of committee means the committee reviews it first, and you have a public hearing, and the public is invited to say what they want about whatever the bill is. And then the committee, which is made up of a certain group of legislators, is on each committee. So you have the Public Health Committee, you can have, all kinds of different committees. Once the committee votes it's called voted out of committee, and then it goes to the House and Senate for a vote. So a lot of these bills that are in the committee right now are actually passing out of committee, which is quite a shame. One of them is the one that it will hopefully not, but it may end up as a constitutional amendment in our next election in November. And that's just so the public can vote. Do they want that to be done or not? They want to make, how we have the protective classes
yes.
in our state? Well, they want to protect abortion and gender rights also. That's going to maybe be a question this coming November on our ballots. The abortion side of it, they want to put restrictions on abortion way worse than they are already, which one is abortions up to birth for absolutely no reason. The conscience protection, which would be that a doctor would have to perform an abortion whether he chooses that he wants to or not. And then also, if a baby is born alive through a botched abortion, they don't have to help that baby to survive. They can just set the baby aside and let it die.
Wow.
So it's pretty drastic what they want to do. And then some of the other bills right now are bringing that they want to allow kids to be brought in from other states, gender transitions and abortion. I believe that's another one that got voted out of committee. So we really need to contact our senators and congressmen and legislators that are going to be voting on this, any of these bills. Like I said, if you want to learn more and know exactly which bills you need to start calling them and writing to them about. You can come to our event on April 26th and find out more of how that's done and how to try to fight this. Our event is called Call to Arms Workshop. So we just feel like it's time to fight and really get in there and try and persuade legislators that are voting, how wrong these bills are.
Absolutely. Well, if you're tuning in right now to the broadcast, I'm speaking to Margaret. She is the head coordinator. She is a CEO of Right to Life Education Alliance, and we're talking about a pro-life workshop. Obviously, we know your passion comes from the Lord, but how did you get started in this? What was the passion and the ignition that drove you to this?
You mean to just run Connect Right to Life Education Alliance, or just the whole pro-life?
I think the whole alliance situation.
Oh, the alliance thing. Well, I've been part of Connecticut Right to Life for many, many years, and actually someone just asked me, the president of Connecticut Right to Life Corporation asked me if I would start up. Actually, they asked me if I would have a conference on the eastern side of Connecticut, and that became what we're doing now. So never be afraid to ask someone, because they may not feel that, they can actually do that kind of work, but if you ask them, they might say, "Oh, you think I could do that?" Because that's what happened to me.
So how do you think doing all this has strengthened your relationship with the Lord and the community?
Well, I've always had a strong relationship with the Lord, and this has just made my commitment to life stronger. I've been pro-life my whole life. I was a teenager in 1973 when abortion became legal in our country, and I've been very involved with trying to change that ever since then. So, unfortunately, Connecticut was well prepared way before, I think it was 1996. They put a lot of laws into place. So if Roe v. Wade was ever overturned, that their bills are already states' rights. So we do have a lot of things that are already on the books because they had planned ahead. Now they're just trying to make it even worse or better, I guess, depending what side you're on.
Yeah, a little bit more extremely drastic.
Yes, very.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we all said in the beginning. You open the door to abortion being okay, say, in the first 3 months. It's just going to get worse and worse. And now here we are, up to 9 months, up to birth.
It's almost like anything. When you give the enemy a little bit of a crack, you don't think that he could be that ugly, but he really is that ugly.
That's right. Yes.
He really is. I enjoyed hearing so much just of your passion and about this workshop. Any other details that you would like to convey about this workshop before we close the broadcast today?
Yes, we actually have 2 of our state senators that are coming to talk to us about bills, about the pro-life bills in particular, and then how bill comes to be. And then also we have another speaker coming that's going to show us how to go online, how to look up bills, and that's going to be right on the screen in front of you, and you're going to have work pages to fill out and to just show you how you go about, go to a hearing or put in a testimony if you would like, or write to your senators. And then we are also going to have a hotline. So when these bills come out and they need to be addressed, and we need to quickly, because it happens very quickly, that you need to get up to Hartford or you need to write a letter, we will notify anybody who's interested to help us with that.
Okay, great. Just tell our listeners how they can register, how they can contact you, or the website.
Yes, okay. To know anything about Connecticut Right to Life, please feel free to reach out to me, and you can just call me 860-822-1362, and that is my home phone, so just leave a message there. And if you would like to go to the event this weekend, you can call me about that also, but we are taking walk-ins. It is $10 a person. Students and religious are free. Students are our biggest people of getting into the public, learning how to fight.
Once again, that was Margaret Beacott, the director of Right to Life Education Alliance. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast, learning about their upcoming A Call to Arms pro-life workshop. That's happening this coming weekend, Saturday, April 26th at 1 p.m. at the VFW Hall in Niantic, Connecticut. For more details, give us a call, 860-346-1049. I'm Anissa Porticelli for News and Public Affairs.